Hello, how are you all? Happy Friday. Well, just watch Jen Psaki end her career as this administration's chief liar. She leaves her post with a perfect record. I actually just saw a really funny video. I'll play it for you in a second. Yes, it is Jen Psaki's last day as the White House press secretary. So sad. Not really. In the words of my late Uncle Jack, if I was doing any better, I'd be twins. Oh, yes, you're doing well. We have 15 geese outside of the house. I'll see if I can show you a video. For some reason, the videos that I film myself, I can't upload onto StreamYard. See if I can find this video of the geese. There's 15. Hi, Glenn. Okay, you can kind of see them. They're a little far. Well, it's not a very good video. Hold on. They were actually, we had some weather, so a lot of them they were laying down yesterday, and then they were out there again today. We counted 15 this morning. I'm glad your geese are back. Yes, my geese are back. I'm very excited about that. Okay, I'll get started in just a minute. Yes, it was Jen Psaki's last day. I saw a picture of a breakfast that she had this morning. I guess it was in the White House, and it looked rather boring. Hi, Daybreak. Oh, cool. We have a real pro-left, hardcore radical about to step up. Hope Ducey has his game face on Monday. Well, it's really interesting. So I guess this happened during her last press conference today. So there was an individual. You'll hear this guy speaking over everyone. I guess this individual in the back, he's a reporter, and he was really tired of always being put in the back. And he was tired of Jen Psaki always talking to the same reporters. So this happened. It was hard to make it out at first and realize what he was saying. But if you listen to him, he's saying that he's been there for 15 months or something and has never been able to ask a question. So I apologize if this is a little annoying, but I just found it interesting.
And I'm saying that for the sake of equity, we should have
thank you for your service, and thank your husband for his service as well. On the issue of formula, I think if anything, this crisis has reminded everyone that
Simon, if you could respect your colleagues and other media and reporters in here, that would be greatly appreciated. Go ahead, Mary.
If anything, sir, please, if anything, this has reminded, I think, the entire country and the world that this is not a luxury item, but an essential. Thank you. Formula is not a luxury item. It is.
So he was saying how he's been there for 15 months and he's never been able to ask a question. I was like, interesting. So I guess she calls on the same people. Today was her last day. So we can all mourn. She will be on MSNBC. So she will be continuing her career as an apologist and a liar for the Democratic Party. She took time to lie about baby formula companies and people hoarding such a POS. Yeah, this baby formula thing is pretty serious. I'm actually going out this afternoon. I'm going by Target and Walmart, and I'm really curious to see what they have there, to see if they're low here in Virginia on baby formula. So if they are, I'm gonna video it and see what's happening. Never been able to ask a question. How very Twitter shadow banning is it? Yeah. Okay. Well, I wanted to start out with talking about Rand Paul for just a second. And then I have Candace Owens is my hero. I don't ever like calling somebody a hero. I don't like idolizing people or putting them on a pedestal. And I'm not doing that all the way, but I'm going to break my rule. There's always an exception to the rule. And I think Candace Owens today deserves hero status, and I am going to show you this beautiful video that she did calling out Black Lives Matter in just a second. But first, we'll just talk about Rand Paul for just a second, because everyone is going after Rand Paul today. And he put a hold on this $40 billion that's going to Ukraine. And this is what happened. So Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul blocked the fast tracking of a massive 40 billion Ukraine aid package through the Senate on Thursday. So this happened yesterday. He objected to the move by Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell to pass the bill via unanimous consent. After Paul's objection, the bill now needs to go through a number of procedural moves, but it is still expected to pass. So he's saying, reserving the right to object my oath of office in the U.S. Constitution, not to any foreign nation. And no matter how sympathetic the cause, my oath of office is to the national security of the United States of America. So this is Rand Paul in Senate yesterday. We cannot save Ukraine by dooming the U.S. economy. Inflation doesn't just come out of nowhere. It comes from deficit spending. Paul said that it seemed like Congress was intent on adding to the pain Americans are experiencing economically by shoveling more money out the door as fast as they can. He said, if this gift to Ukraine passes, our total aid to Ukraine will almost equal the entire military budget of Russia. And it's not as if we have that money lying around. We will have to borrow that money from China to send it to Ukraine. He also claimed that the money being authorized to Ukraine was more than that spent in the first year of the Afghanistan war, collected yearly by the government and gas taxes, spent on cancer research, and the budgets for the Department of Homeland Security. Paul also said that other European countries had stepped up to help Ukraine and that the U.S. didn't always have to be the Uncle Sam, the policeman that saves the world, particularly when it's on borrowed money. He said that a day of reckoning awaited if the United States did not stop this fiscal insanity before advocating for a special inspector general to look at the bill's allocation of money. So he wants there to be oversight, and he wants there to be basically an inspector looking at exactly how this money is being sent. And he is just getting railed by leftist media pundits saying that he doesn't want to help Ukraine. He doesn't want to spend aid, but what he's saying is, I want there to be oversight. I want us to debate this, and I want us to think about this before it is just shoved through and sent over. At least one senator isn't frothing at the mouth for more war. Exactly. And I commend him. I like Rand Paul. I like when he takes a stand on things. I don't agree with anything, but at least he's a man with principle. So that's what's happening with Rand Paul. If you're curious to why he's been all over the news today, and people are saying, oh, he doesn't want to help, without really recognizing what's happening here in the U.S. And we were talking about this yesterday. It's like we are made to feel so guilty for everything that we have, and we help everyone to the point where it depletes us. The leftist media is hypocritical because Rand is just as liberal on Russia as Obama was. Yeah. They just don't like that he stood in the way of sending all this money away. Okay, let's talk about Candace Owens for a second. I just happened to see this right before I popped on here. And Candace Owens is working on a documentary to expose BLM and to look into where all these funds are going. There's a few things that we do know about the money that BLM raised. We do know that a lot of it is unaccounted for. We do know that they have $66 million. None of it has gone to any of the families whose names they use to further their effort and get donations. None of it went to any Black communities. None of it went to after-school programs. this money went nowhere, but they did buy a $6 million mansion. Patrice Colors, one of the co-founders, did go on a mansion spending spree of her own. Patrice Colors also admitted publicly that in this $6 million mansion that BLM bought, she had an inauguration party for Joe Biden and she had a birthday party for her son. So these funds are not being used the way that a lot of people think that they should be used. So let me see if I can.
This morning.
So Candace Owens went to this $6 million mansion, which was listed as a BLM property. And she just went there. By the way, Candace, you can see in this video, she is very pregnant. So she went to this mansion to knock on the door and just ask some questions. And I guess, and Patrice Colors got word that Candace was there and put this video out crying, saying she felt threatened, she felt unsafe by Candace Owens. So this is what Candace did in response. By the way, all of this was on camera because she's making a documentary. So there were cameramen filming the whole time. And so here it is. Candace says, breaking, I am pre-releasing the footage of me showing up at one of Black Lives Matter founders, Patrice Colors' multiple mansions. Remember, she fake cried and said I harassed her? Liar. I kindly spoke to a white security guard who remained silent through a gate. So Candace put this video together, basically discrediting BLM's claims. And I just love that I never fell for the BLM lie. I from the very beginning, from Ferguson, I always thought they were fraudulent. I never thought that they cared. And I just love that they're being exposed. And Candace Owens is probably one of the best people today to do this. So here's this little video that Candace put together.
This morning, I woke up to Candace Owens being outside of my house with a news crew. She was demanding that I come outside.
Hello. I was just looking to speak to whoever is at this property because it's listed as the Black Lives Matter property. Sir? Hello?
The fact that she's came outside my house and demanded things, harassed me, is unacceptable.
We're not trying to harass you. We'll gladly leave. We're just wondering if we can speak to anybody.
Y'all, I really need my family to be safe. I need to be safe. I need my child to be safe. And this, what happened this morning is not safety.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
So at the very end, she puts Instagram versus reality. Ah, I love it. I love that. I almost want to watch it again. Hold on, I want to watch it again.
Morning, I woke up to Candace Owens being outside of my house with a news crew. She was demanding that I come outside.
Hello. I was just looking to speak to whoever is at this property because it's listed as the Black Lives Matter property. Sir? Hello?
The fact that she's came outside my house and demanded things, harassed me, is unacceptable.
We're not trying to harass you. We'll gladly leave. We're just wondering if we can speak to anybody.
Y'all, I really need my family to be safe. I need to be safe. I need my child to be safe. And this, what happened this morning is not safety.
It's unbelievable. Yes, I do believe her kid is grown. It is unbelievable. How do you think the McCloskeys felt? Do you remember the McCloskeys? They're the ones that went outside of their houses and they went outside of their houses. They went outside of their house. They were armed. This was in St. Louis when they had a mob of people break through a security gate in their neighborhood, come onto their property, yell threats at them. And here we are, the co-founder of Black Lives Matter, the purveyor of defund the police, all cops are bad, who not once condemned any of the riots, $2 billion worth of damage in the summer of 2020. And she is crying because a very pregnant Candace Owens politely said, "Is there someone we can talk to?" You can't make it up. Candace Owens was doing everything legit. She did not dox. Nope, she didn't dox the address. She just asked, "Is there anyone I can talk to?" And reporters do that sometimes. She said, I'm not trying to harass anyone. I'm just wondering if there's anyone that I can talk to." Yeah, and the mob was doing property damage. Ugh. So, Candace is my hero today. I was waiting to see that footage. BLM doxed themselves with the $1 million house buy. Yeah, they kind of did. But, she did everything right. She did everything she was supposed to do. So funny. Her neighbors must love her. Can't make it up, people. All right, so you are going to love this. Standing on someone's doorstep politely asking to interview him, her, is an excellent way to shatter someone's perception of safety. Oh. All right. You are going to love this. So we recently talked about all of these corporations decided to inject themselves into politics. This really got big with Netflix and Disney. So you had activists who worked within Netflix when the Dave Chappelle special came out and he made, a few trans jokes. By the way, Dave Chappelle makes fun of everyone. He makes fun of white people. He makes fun of black people. He makes fun of trans people. He makes fun of gay people. He makes fun of everybody. But a group of activists within Netflix, when his special came out, decided to protest, and they wanted to cancel Dave Chappelle. Thankfully, Netflix came out and supported Dave Chappelle. Well, they just sent an internal email, and let's talk about what it said. I really like it. Disney was the same way, though. Remember, all of those internal videos of Disney came out with their employees talking about how they're injecting all kinds of LGBTQ agenda items into a lot of children's programming. Disney also decided to come out and have a stance against the parental rights bill in Florida, which was actually called what they said was the Don't Say Gay bill, which was actually the parental rights bill. Well, recently we learned that a PR firm who works with Starbucks and other major retailers quietly advised their clients not to speak on abortion rights. They said they basically are realizing it's bad for business, and Netflix is going in that direction as well. So what happened with Netflix is a lot of people canceled their subscriptions. Their stock went down after all of this. The same happened with Disney. A lot of people canceled Disney Plus when they started talking about the Don't Say Gay bill, and their stock went down majorly after that happened. So I think corporations are starting to realize that this is really bad for business. And Chris Rufo, who exposed a lot of the internal videos with Disney that were really concerning of some of the higher ups talking about their agenda, he said it's from my observation that these very few activists that work in these big corporations, this isn't what the majority of the employees feel, and it's not even really what the executives feel, but it's almost like the executives feel backed into a corner. They have these small group of activists within these corporations that just happen to be really loud, and that's who the CEOs listen to, and it's starting to backfire. And we see that with this PR firm. And now here is Netflix. So it says a new corporate culture memo from Netflix is taking a hardline stance on attempts to silence artistic expression by warning those who are offended by the streaming service's content that they may want to go find a job somewhere else. Congratulations. That's how it should always be. Variety reports that the change in Netflix's company culture appears to be in large part due to the backlash the streaming service faced from woke employees last year over its Dave Chappelle special, which the employees claimed was transphobic. The updated Netflix culture memo includes a section called Artistic Expression that states that it will not censor specific artists or voices, even if employees consider the content harmful. If you find, so this is directly from the memo, if you find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you, states the memo, later adding that employees may be required to work on projects that they perceive to be harmful, and that if they have a hard time accepting their work assignment, they might want to consider working somewhere else. Wow, are we finally starting to see backbones? It goes on to say, entertaining the world is an amazing opportunity and also a challenge because viewers have very different tastes and points of view. So we offer a wide variety of TV shows and movies, some of which can be provocative. We support the artistic expression of creators we choose to work with. We let viewers decide what's appropriate for them versus having Netflix censor specific artists or voices. Netflix, I actually didn't know this because I didn't really follow this story, but it goes on to say Netflix reportedly fired the leader of a trans organization within the company last October who allegedly organized a walkout to protest the company backing Dave Chappelle over his special, The Closer. So The Verge, which is an entertainment publication, reported the employee was terminated on suspicion of leaking metrics to the press related to Dave Chappelle's special. Those metrics about how much Netflix paid for The Closer and how many people it reached subsequently ended up in a report on Bloomberg. While the employee had shared the metrics internally, they spoke out against the leaks to colleagues, worried they might hurt the walkout movement. The leaking of internal data is highly unusual at Netflix. While the company prides itself on transparency, employees are told that the culture can only thrive when data remains internal. Cool. Yeah, I remember that too. And companies are starting to realize that appeasing your small minority of very loud and, in my opinion, annoying activists is not good for business. You go woke, you go broke. And they're realizing that. Hopefully Hollywood will start to follow behind, but usually I honestly do think a lot of the woke BS will die out in Hollywood eventually, but it's going to take a while. Speaking of Netflix, I know this isn't, I just thought you guys would like to hear this. But this popped up while I was researching Netflix, and I think this is so cool. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it because I'm going to start crying. So here, this is from the Daily Wire. And I also like Netflix for giving. We're going to talk about Norm Macdonald, the late great Norm Macdonald. Netflix has always given him a platform too. And I don't know if you know this, but Norm Macdonald was almost canceled a while back because he used the word retard. He said retard, and people tried to cancel him. He even went on The View in the middle of the pecking hens. Ew, no crying. If I watch this, I will cry. So listen to what this is. This is actually so cool. So it says comedy legend Norm Macdonald shot a secret comedy special for Netflix that was to be released in the event of his death. And now it is about to come out. That's why I don't think I'll be able to watch it. One of modern comedy's greatest talents made one final stand-up special before he passed away, and it's been kept a secret until now. Netflix will release the surprise program Norm Macdonald Nothing Special on May 30th. So this will be released on Netflix at the end of the year. I will watch it, but it's gonna be ugly. Macdonald died last September at 61 years old after reportedly battling with cancer for 9 years. The report says that he was working on new material for a special with Netflix when he became so ill that he had to be hospitalized in 2020. The result was a stand-up special shot in Macdonald's living room. The actor filmed the entire hour in a single take. As it turned out, Macdonald made it through the medical procedure just fine, and the footage was literally tossed in a closet. But Macdonald became very ill a year later before his special could be properly filmed before an audience. Lori Jo Hoekstra, I don't know how to say names, people. Macdonald's longtime producing partner told the publication that Macdonald wanted to get the special on tape just in case his health went south. It was his intention to have a special to share if something happened. He looks great and the material is fantastic. He ended up getting sicker last August and September, and he remembered he had shot this and asked me to find it so he could watch it. He ended up watching it before he passed away. From the various conversations I had within our circle of friends in comedy and producing, no one has heard of any comparison to this situation, not even close. It makes me so happy that I can share it, but also sad that we can't share it with him. He didn't do this for the shock that it exists. He shot it because he loved the material and was proud of his material. He worked so hard on it, and it really would have bothered him to have done all that work and not have been able to show it to everyone. He did it for stand-up. I just hope people appreciate that he did this. Oh gosh. Ugh. I know what I'm doing May 30th. I mean, I will too, but there are gonna be tears. I know myself. I cry over everything. Norm Macdonald was canceled for making too many jokes about O.J. Simpson. He's a great comedian. He's a very talented comedian and really smart guy. Jimmy Dore is hated by Young Turks. I just watched a segment of Jimmy Dore where he talks about how he is hated by the Young Turks. Ugh. Norm's Hitler jokes crack me up. I want to know. May 30th is pretty soon. I want to know what's on this special. But yeah, I'm just a crier. I cry over everything. Even if I see like people being nice to each other, I'm like, that's so nice. Did you see Chank's rant about Joe Rogan? Was that recently? Hold on, let's see if I can find it. I actually have a clip of Joe Rogan that I'm going to play you in just a second. Sarah, did you see Elon Musk put Twitter on hold? He wants them to show him that their amount of fake accounts is less than 5%. I did. So if you guys don't know, Elon Musk put his Twitter purchase on hold because it's suspected that there are a lot of fake accounts on Twitter, which Tim Pool, if you guys watch Tim Pool on YouTube, he had a really good segment today where he suspected that what happened, if you are a conservative on Twitter, right when it was announced that Elon Musk was going to buy Twitter, you all of a sudden saw your follower count go way up. I don't have a big following on Twitter, but I even noticed a bump in my follower account since he announced that he was going to buy it. So Tim Pool had this whole theory that what Twitter did is it censored and banned a lot of conservatives and maybe had some fake, this is all theory, I don't know if any of this is true, maybe created a lot of fake sort of liberal accounts to make it seem as though liberal ideas and media people and politicians, things like that, were a lot more popular when they actually were. And if you think about it, conservatives, I think, have a lot of popularity on social media, on YouTube, things like that, because they go on a meritocracy. That's basically what Tim Pool was saying. And if you leave it just to a meritocracy, then you have conservatives that are a lot more popular than liberals. And that's what I think. I have 35 followers on Twitter. So they think that there's so Tim Pool was making the case that there's a lot of fake accounts to prop it up and make it look a lot different than it actually is. So we'll see what happens with Elon Musk. Hold on, I'm going to look up Elon Musk and then I'm going to look up this Chink video. Is that how you say his name, Chink? Okay, let's see Elon. Okay, so Elon says Twitter deal temporarily on hold pending details supporting calculation that spam/fake accounts do indeed represent less than 5% of users. He says, I'm still committed to this acquisition. Chunk yogurt. So this is Reuters. It says Twitter Inc. estimated in a filing on Monday that false or spam accounts represented fewer than 5% of its monetizable daily active users during the first quarter. The social media company had 229 million users who were served advertising in the first quarter. The disclosure came days after Tesla chief executive Elon Musk, who has inked a deal to buy Twitter for $44 billion, tweeted that one of his priorities would be to remove spam bots on the platform. Twitter said in the filing it faced several risks until the deal with Musk is closed, such as whether advertisers would continue to spend on Twitter and potential uncertainty regarding our future plan strategy. Well, it was really odd too, because what also happened, and Elon he's not in charge yet. And what also happened when it was announced that he was buying Twitter, all of a sudden, a lot of these accounts that had been banned for a while were reinstated. And that was before he even had control over it. Again, I'm going back to Tim Pool's video, but he said, I had a friend who was banned on Twitter for a year. She didn't even know why she was banned, but was banned for a year. And then all of a sudden, after this announcement went through, was reinstated and never knew why it even happened in the first place. So that's interesting. It'll be really interesting to see what's going on in the inner workings of Twitter. Okay, so Hold on. Chink. Oh. Okay. I'm looking it up.
Let us know because it's obvious that it's personal for him. Okay, Joe, you still a person like that.
Wait, what is he talking about? Hold on.
You're super into trans people, and you're taking it out your. By the way, if you're the trans person or several people that slept with Joe Rogan, can you let us know? Because it's obvious that it's personal for him. Okay, Joe, you slept with a person like that. There's nothing wrong with it. Get over it. Get over it. Get over it, Joe. It's super obvious that you're super into trans people. And you're taking it out, your hatred of yourself on them, and you're making their life dangerous. By the way,
what is he talking about? Did you all hear that? But what is this even in response to? So it says, LOL, he is literally asking trans individuals in his audience to tell them if they've slept with Joe Rogan because Chank thinks Joe's opinions about trans people is because he had sex with them, according to Chank. I can't believe YouTube has a direct news partnership with these guys. So Joe Rogan doesn't think biological men should compete in women's sports. So that means that he has slept with individuals who are trans, and that's why. Well, Anna, this is the. He's trying to pick a fight. Joe has an audience. Good. There have been a few unhinged rants on the Young Turks recently. There was one with Anna, and this is what Jimmy Dore was talking about. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I don't know how they have an audience. I really don't. Oh, okay, here we go.
Camping laws.
Okay, so
Homeless problem in Cal. I do think that there are progressives.
wait, that's not it.
And yet,
I can't. This This is a this is an edit. It's going to be really annoying, but this was her rant.
Fight against those kinds of laws are Republicans. And yet, what do you want them to do with their kids when they have to go to work? What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? I want them to answer that freaking question. Answer the question. Journalists, ask them the question. Ask them. Ask them. Isn't it amazing? Ask them the goddamn question. God. Isn't it amazing that not one Democrat has shown 1% of the passion that Anna has today? They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They're all so old, they don't even have to worry about it affecting them. And if they're young enough for it would affect them, they'll get their abortion. They're going to fly to Paris.
Sorry, that was a weird edit. That was the Young Turks. So that was Cenk and Anna. Anna was basically having a meltdown over, I can fix her. Anna was having a meltdown over the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Jimmy Dore played that clip on his show, and he played it because I guess they would call him a crazy ranty person, and then he's like, well, you're ranting right here. So that was her ranting about abortion. What are you going to do with your kids? She's always having a meltdown. Yeah. I don't know how anyone takes either of them seriously at this point. Cenk has a lot of meltdowns as well. I will say, I saw Anna, she debated Ben Shapiro once on a stage, and I did have a lot of respect for her for doing that. Speaking of Joe Rogan.
A lot of people don't like that term online. They're very
So this is why a lot of people a lot of liberals do not like Joe Rogan, because he calls them out. This is Joe Rogan talking about people using the word groomer for school. Shannon. So Ultra Danette says, Joe Rogan, how many people are doing it under the guise of I'm an LGBTQ editor or educator? The term groomer, a lot of people don't like that term online. They're very upset, but they're real. There are groomers, he said.
you feel about indoctrination by people that are educators. I don't like that at all. There's just two very different things.
Right.
And if you want to tell me that they're the same thing, I say fuck you.
Right.
Because they're not. Because there's a lot of fucking crazy people that
Right,
wind up being
language.
teachers. Someone said to me that, or read this, not all, the term groomer, a lot of people don't like that term online. They're very upset.
yeah.
But they're real.
Right.
There are groomers. You don't like it? Do you not like it because you don't want children to be groomed? Or do you not like it because it's a pejorative that's used against the left? Which is, I think, more likely.
Yeah.
But here's what's more important. Not have people groom your fucking kids. That's what's more important than you getting uncomfortable with this word because it's used by people on the right. Like I saw someone as an argument, someone who I think is an intelligent person, say that there should be a block against using the word groomer.
Unbelievable.
No, there should be no groomers. How do you feel about education? I think it's...
See, we talk about this all the time, though. That's how tribal we've become. People will start to take the oddest positions on things just because the other side calls them out. He is always spinning facts. That's why the left doesn't like him. But he brings up a great point. Well, one, he brings up a great point about these teachers being really inappropriate. And I'll show you the video of one who actually got fired. But this whole thing about the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, which basically says all it says is that you cannot have class discussions with pre-K through third graders about sexual orientation or gender identity. That should not be a radical or a partisan stance. But you have people who will be against it and who will smear it as a Don't Say Gay bill, even though they are not on the right side of the argument, only because Republicans support it. So they don't want to use the word groomer only because Republicans use it to call out very highly inappropriate and problematic teachers. And there was a really good there was a really good point brought up in that tweet. How many people are doing it under the guise of I am an LGBTQ educator? And they do. People will use these far leftist radical policies. Bad faith people will use it to their advantage. And there are bad people that go into education. And now that we are normalizing all of these conversations, you are giving those bad people an in and a guise and an excuse. There are bad people everywhere. I used to work in human services, so I worked with social workers. There are bad people that will specifically go into fields where they work with vulnerable populations to get access to those vulnerable populations and to prey upon them. It happens in nursing homes, it happens in social work, and it happens in classrooms. It happens everywhere. And they make all of these policies that sort of give people, well, no, I'm an LGBTQ educator. And now we're normalizing having highly inappropriate conversations with children. And you are making the water very, very muddy where it should not be muddy. You are putting a lot of gray where there should be black and white. And here's an example of this. So this teacher, I believe, got fired. Last I saw, I know she was on leave. But here we go.
And a lot of them are queer because I am queer. And they.
So she said a lot of kids come to her after school because they know that she's queer.
Kids from last year are now in 5th grade and they come visit me almost every day after school. And a lot of them are queer because I am queer. And they figured it out. And so I've become their safe space. And today they found my Guess Who. And they started playing Guess Who, but they didn't play it the normal way. How did they play it? They used things like, this person looks like a lesbian baddie who's going to come over and make you dinner. Well, which one of these characters is a lesbian baddie that's going to come over and make you dinner? Oh, Olivia is? Oh, great. Which character just looks gay? Well, meet Mike. These kids, I'm so happy that they are figuring out who they are and that they're happy with who they are and that they found a safe place. But man, I could never imagine being in 5th grade saying these things out loud, even though I know they're all okay. I grew up super religious where nothing was okay. And so seeing this happen, I'm like, ah, but I'm also like, yay, but ah.
First of all, this person, just on the demeanor alone, to me appears a little bit unwell. I don't know. Not totally together. I don't know. But whenever is it appropriate? By the way, this teacher is on leave. There is a statement from the school district. Let me see if I can find it. Oops. Where is it? Maybe it is. But they did say that this is inappropriate, which. And that video popped back up. I'll be honest with you, I don't think this is a majority of teachers. I think the majority of teachers are probably very decent. But there's a lot of teachers just like this out there. So this teacher was put on leave. See what the school said. Yeah, so it says late Friday afternoon, May 6th. So this happened a few weeks ago. We became aware of a concerning video posted to social media by one of our teachers. In the video, the teacher describes several inappropriate conversations with former students. The employee has been placed on administrative leave pending a thorough investigation. Our teachers are expected to comport themselves with the highest degree of professionalism. Behavior that is unprofessional in violation of state code or that violates the trust placed on us by the families of Renaissance Academy will not be tolerated. So I guess it's Leonard. And keep in mind, these were 5th grade students. And this is why, people say, why do they keep talking about groomers in school. Why do they keep talking about all these teachers? Well, this is why. No teacher should be having after school conversations about any kid about sexuality or anything of that nature. That is so highly inappropriate. And look how giddy and excited she is about that. That's a red flag. A lot of these teachers, they're so giddy and excited about this stuff. Why? And that's what Joe Rogan is talking about. And that's why the parental rights bill in Florida was necessary. Because these are the conversations. So hers are fifth graders, I believe. But teachers younger than that, I think I have another red light, more like a flare. Big red truck. Big red truck backing up. I think I have a preschool teacher. Oh, I can't play it because that's copyrighted music. But on Libs of TikTok, there was a video of a preschool teacher bragging about having gender identity books in preschool. What is it about leftist ideology that brings it up? You know what I honestly think it is? I think that I grew up in the church. I grew up Southern Baptist. I don't go regularly, but I still go to church sometimes. I think that for a lot of people, even if you're not a super religious person, I think that you can still see the benefits of church. You know, the sense of community, the sense of having something higher than yourself, having sort of like a moral code or just having something higher than I think yourself. I feel like a lot of this ideology in a lot of ways has replaced religion. It almost is like a religion to a lot of people. It's cultish in some ways. The way they talk is kind of cultish, a lot of it. And I think that, you know, religion kind of fills something in you. It gives you a higher meaning. And I think that a lot of people like her age, I can't tell if she's my age or not. She's probably younger than me. But a lot of younger people grew up in the age of social media where they have cell phones, video games, they're inside, they're not outside like they used to be. They're obsessed with social media. I played outside every single day. I got dirty every day. My mom had to call me in for dinner. I just think that the sense of community, the human interaction, and possibly religion and just all of those things, I think that this is replacing that for them. And if you look, a lot of these teachers, it's really sad, but they get they almost get validation through their students, which is the absolute opposite of what you should be doing. You're there for the student. You're a teacher. You shouldn't be getting validation from your kids. But it's like they need that validation back to them because they're missing something in their lives. And I think this fills up whatever void it is that they have in their lives. And it's really sad. Sarah, no one can tell your age. You might be 21, you might be 48, no clue, but I do not know. But I do know that you're a goose sympathizer. I am. TikTok could have belonged to America. Biden let China keep it, and it's growing faster than Facebook, I think, back in the day. Yeah. I think a lot of people just don't have a higher meaning, and they get definitely not 48. And they're getting this leftist ideology is filming some sort of empty void that they have within themselves. And I think that's why they're so protective over it as well. They get so offended if you counter their beliefs or if you call out their hypocrisy. What, TikTok is the hottest I could see that. It grows fast. A lot of people are on there and it's so easy. And that's why you see, so Instagram and YouTube are sort of trying to emulate a lot of the success that TikTok had with, so Instagram has their reels, YouTube has shorts now. Yeah, they've totally changed. And when I was learning how to work with kids, because I used to work with kids, I worked in a psychiatric hospital and I worked in a crisis center. It was like people have no sense of boundaries anymore. Like boundaries are completely gone. And it was pounded in my head when I was in school and when I was doing on the job training. Boundaries were pounded in my head, having healthy boundaries. When I worked with my kids, granted, I worked in a different setting, but I never talked about my personal life with them ever. Ever, ever, ever. They didn't know if I was single, if I was married, if I had a boyfriend. They didn't know how old I was. They didn't even know my last name because the kids I worked with would go find me online. They knew absolutely nothing about me. And it sucks sometimes because they would want to ask you questions. They would want to know everything about you. And I would tell them like very general stuff like, oh, I saw this movie this weekend, or oh, I did this, or I went hiking once, or whatever. I would tell them like very general stuff about me, but it was just pounded in our head to have boundaries because I'm not there to talk about myself. I'm there to work for you. You don't need to know that much about me. You just need to know that I'm here working for you. We're focused on you right now. Boundaries are not in their dictionary. Yeah. And you are not. And if you're getting validation from, it doesn't matter what you are, whether you're a therapist, a social worker, a teacher, um, anything. If you're getting validation from your clients, your patients, your students, that's not healthy. That's not where you should be getting your validation from. You are missing something in your personal life. Like this teacher needs to work on whatever it is that she's missing in her personal life to figure out why she needs to get all of this validation from her students and why she's so giddy and excited. Like there's a difference between having an accepting classroom, and I think you can have a classroom of acceptance without being specific. If you want your kids to feel comfortable in your classroom, you can have a class discussion saying, hey, you might not understand, being a kid is hard. It can be confusing sometimes. You're going through a lot of changes and, you might not understand where you're at, or you might not understand your classmate, but it's just important to accept. You can have a general message on acceptance without having to conform to any one ideology. And that's really what they should be doing instead of this. If they feel the need that they need to talk about acceptance, make it general. You don't have to conform to an ideology. I never knew the first names of my teachers until I got out of school. I didn't either. I remember like some of my teachers, I vaguely maybe knew that they were married. I maybe vaguely knew that they had kids. And if they ever talked about their kids or their partners, it was in a very general way. It wasn't specific. I knew nothing personal about them. And I think it's better that way. I mean, the good thing is, so this is from Libs of TikTok. The good thing is when these videos are exposed, there's usually disciplinary action taken with the teachers. And I'm not saying I'm for people. You have to be careful how you say it, because I'm not sitting here saying, oh, I like when people are canceled. But if you are a government employee, employed by tax dollars, and your job is to teach young children that have no choice. Kids don't get a choice. They have to go to school. And if you can't afford private school, you have to go to public school. There's no choice. Or if your parents work 2 jobs, you can't be homeschooled. When you are a government employee working with kids and you're inappropriate, you shouldn't have that job. Parents have, to a degree, abandoned children to the public school education system. It's been made simple to do. I agree with that. And I think for a long time, you would send your kids off to school and you would just expect that they would have some sort of decent education. And I think that's how a lot of these ideals slip through, because a lot of parents just weren't paying attention. I think they just kind of blindly you just blindly trust the school system. And that's one of the things I think that happened with the pandemic is a lot of kids were at home and a lot of parents were all of a sudden seeing some of these lessons that were being taught over Zoom and some of the worksheets that they were doing. And they were like, hold the phone. What is happening here? I did have a teacher when I was in first grade. Her name was Miss Rollins, and she liked our class so much that she actually took us to second grade too. So I had the same exact class and the same exact teacher first and second grade, which was pretty cool. But she just loved our class. So she asked if she could be our teacher in second grade. So we had the same class, same teacher. Very cool. But I still never knew that much personal stuff about her. All right, you all. Well, I'm going to head off. Thank you so much. That was a fun one. Remember when it used to be Miss or Miss? Yeah. And what gets me too are when these teachers are like, you can call me Mix, MX, or they're like, I don't know what to tell my kids to call me, or like, now that my gender has changed, I don't know. I have to make this big announcement to my kids. No, you don't. Just let them call you Mix. Who cares? Who cares what if they call you Miss or Mrs.? LOL. There is a picture of Peter Ducey and Jen Psaki. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, wait. I didn't realize how tall he is. Oh my gosh. That's actually pretty funny. He's really tall, or she's really tiny. Peter Ducey says, end of an era in the Brady briefing room. Good luck. Tim Young, I follow him on Twitter. He says, I'm nowhere near as nice as Peter Ducey. Yeah, I had no idea. Usually people, when you see people on TV, usually they're shorter than what you think they are. Or when you see people in real life from TV, usually they're shorter. But he's pretty tall. They actually did, I will say, they had a cute moment. This was, I think, a week or two ago.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Sorry to see you go. Are you? Yes, and you've always been a good sport. Thank you. So as have you. Of everybody, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That was nice. All right, you all. I'm getting off here. I think I'll be live later tonight. I'll announce what time. And I'll see you all at the Misinformation Pageant featuring Nina Jankowicz. Maybe we'll talk about that if I get back on tonight. But I'll announce what time. It'll be later this evening. Thank you very much, everyone. You're not lying. I seen someone from a reality show at Target and was shocked how. Yeah, most actors are way shorter than what you would think they are. Backtrack, Psaki. All right, thank you all, and have a really good afternoon. If I go live later tonight, I'll announce the time before that. Thank you very much. I'll see you later. Bye. And broadcast. Oh.